Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our virtual gala. I'm Bill Harrington, the chairman of the Westchester County Association. It's my honor to be here with you today. Joining me on stage is my friend, President and CEO of White Plains Hospital, and WCA Vice Chair, Susan Fox. I hope you and your families are staying healthy and positive during these extraordinary times. To begin, we want to acknowledge our generous sponsors for today's event. Without your support, we would not have been able to put this program together free of charge for all attendees. The sponsors are listed in the digital journal below this video and will be sent to everyone via email after the program. The WCA is made up of so many talented people and organizations from across Westchester who are now working collectively to support the recovery and long-term prosperity of the region. Today, we are so pleased to be able to recognize some of these incredible individuals and businesses. Kenneth Theobalds, Margaret Kaufer, and the Taubner family for their many contributions. Congresswoman Nita Lowey, who has been a strong advocate for all of us, especially during these difficult times, will also be accepting the Alfred D. Delbellow Visionary Award later in the program. And we are so honored to have a special leader and great visionary provide the keynote address. Dr. Philip Oswa, President and CEO of Montefiore Medicine, who will be joining us in just a few moments.
Thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Last year at this time, we were together with over 1,000 of our closest friends to celebrate former Westchester County Association CEO Bill Mooney's retirement. Although we are disappointed that we can't be together this year to recognize tonight's honorees and to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the WCA, we have all learned to adapt to our new normal. Tonight's virtual leadership event is certainly a first in the 70-year history of the Westchester County Association. While programs and committee meetings may have taken on a different format over the past 8 months, the substance of our work did not change. The executive committee, the board, and leaders who comprise our various committees continued to dedicate their time and expertise to address important issues and even added a post-pandemic work group. To sustain this level of passion during a pandemic is admirable, and I thank you all for your continued commitment to our organization.
Next, you will hear from our new leader, President and CEO Michael Ramita. As Susan mentioned, last year we honored Bill Mooney for his remarkable service to our community. With big shoes to fill, Jeff Menkes and our executive search committee conducted a national search to find the right person to lead this incredible organization. Michael took on the role of president and CEO of the WCA on March 1st, just as the pandemic hit. But Michael has done what all WCA leaders over the last 70 years have done. He stepped up to the challenge and led the organization with direction and purpose during this journey, not only by focusing on the crisis of the day, but by charting a course for the future.
Michael immediately embraced the focal areas of the association and quickly transitioned our regular scheduled live events to a virtual model of free and exclusive programming, full of rich content to keep us all informed and engaged. This includes live streaming webinars, weekly congressional briefings, virtual networking meetups and roundtable discussions, committee meetings, and much more. Even in extraordinary times, the WCA continued to focus on making our Westchester businesses stronger.
It's now our pleasure to introduce WCA President and CEO, Michael Ramita.
Thank you, Susan and Bill, and thanks to all of you out there for tuning in tonight. This may not be the evening any of us had planned. Instead of being together at the Marriott, the Doubletree, or Tappan Hill, here I stand in a high-tech studio in Elmsford. But that doesn't mean we can't take some time out to celebrate our collective accomplishments over the past year and raise a toast to our honorees. So make yourself comfortable and grab a drink, or as my predecessor would say, grab a pop. It may only be afternoon, but I can't see you, and neither can anyone else. The WCA is a remarkable organization. I sought this position because I wanted the opportunity to serve our businesses and nonprofits. I wanted to help them succeed over the long term and to help grow our economy the right way. Our regional economy is a shared system, and while it may never be perfect, we should at least aspire to have it work for everyone. During my tenure, the Westchester County Association will concentrate on the underlying drivers that are the hallmarks of a strong regional economy. Strengthening our healthcare and life sciences ecosystem, maintaining a tax structure that encourages smart growth and development, building out a talent pipeline, investing in physical and digital infrastructure, creating housing opportunities for our workforce, and tackling head-on the challenges of energy, climate change, and social responsibility. It's a lot, but we can get there if we work collaboratively and with purpose. With ever-increasing opportunities for engagement amongst our members, the Westchester County Association leads with best-in-class advocacy, high-level business development opportunities, and programmatic initiatives that make a real and lasting impact. Our future is strong, it's bright, and I am honored to be a part of it. A fundamental pillar of our work is our support for the region's healthcare sector. The WCA has long served as a stakeholder hub, connecting this sector with the rest of the professional and political community. I would like to give special acknowledgement to two of our partners and fellow industry advocates, the Healthcare Association of New York State and the Greater New York Hospital Association. These partner organizations educate us every day about the policies and initiatives important to the business community. And a very special thank you to longtime friend and healthcare advocate Kevin Dahill, President of the Suburban Hospital Alliance. For those of you who have not yet heard, Kevin is retiring at the end of the year. We will miss him, and we wish him well in his next chapter. Thank you, Kevin. Now, as an expression of gratitude to the entire healthcare community for their perseverance, strength, and commitment to keeping us all safe, we have put together a special tribute video. On behalf of our board of directors, our staff, and our members, here's to our healthcare heroes of 2020.
This year hit us like a thunderbolt. Our new normal has presented daunting challenges, but we've risen to meet them. Here in Westchester, we walk amongst heroes. They wake up every morning, don their scrubs and masks, and run into battle, leaving their families to care for ours. This is courage. It's poise, spirit, and clarity of purpose in the face of adversity. We honor the dispatchers and first responders who answer every call, and the nurses who test, triage, and tend to patients every day. We pay tribute to the doctors and the respiratory therapists who fight to stay one step ahead of this enemy with new treatments, therapeutics, and protocols. We salute the social workers and the caregivers who soothe the souls of patients, families, and friends as they face frightening uncertainty and sometimes heartbreaking loss. And we recognize those behind the scenes, the cooks and maintenance workers, the technicians and administrators who keep patients and workers fed and our facilities running. Our healthcare heroes have chosen a life of service. But this year has asked so much more of them than they could ever have imagined. They're strong, they're dedicated, and together we will overcome this virus and we will win. Across Westchester and the Lower Hudson Valley, we bang our pots, join in song, donate food, pack PPE gear, and fly banners of love and support in celebration of our heroes. Tonight, we remind them of our gratitude for their courageous service and sacrifice. The Westchester County Association remains resolute in its deep commitment to our healthcare community. We see you, we hear you, and we thank you.
What a great tribute to our healthcare professionals. As a healthcare leader, I will never forget these times and the extraordinary measures we have taken to protect our community. I would also like to acknowledge the endless appreciation that our healthcare heroes have received from our community. Everyone stepped up to support each other when times got really difficult and made it feel that we were all in this together. So thank you. It is now time for our keynote address brought to us by AT&T. I am very proud to have the opportunity to introduce Dr. Philip Oswa. Dr. Oswa is the president and CEO of Montefiore Medicine, having been appointed to his position just 1 year ago. Prior to that, he was president of the health system and spent years rising through the ranks at Montefiore, previously serving as professor and university chairman of pediatrics at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine and physician-in-chief of the Children's Hospital at Montefiore, one of America's best children's hospitals, according to U.S. News & World Report. Dr. Oswa is a nationally recognized physician leader, executive, researcher, teacher, and author who has worked tirelessly to expand access to healthcare for underserved communities. He has fostered innovations in medical education and has created a unique health system which now spans from the Bronx, Westchester, and throughout the Hudson Valley, and includes 11 hospitals and over 200 ambulatory centers, as well as a top medical school, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Dr. Oswa is lauded by his colleagues for the way he connects with staff and recently showed our region what it means to be a true leader by guiding us through this healthcare crisis, while also providing a strong voice against social injustice. I have had the pleasure of working alongside Dr. Oswa for the past 6 years, since White Plains Hospital became a part of the Montefiore Health System, and have firsthand knowledge that Dr. Oswa is a dynamic and compassionate leader. We are so fortunate to have him address our association this evening. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Philip Oswa.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Susan. The work that you and Michael Ramita, CEO, and the rest of the Westchester County Association team do is vital to an important cause: driving smart growth, driving economic vitality, and driving economic development in Westchester and the region. This year, in particular, highlighted the need for organizations like the WCA because this was a year unlike any other. The coronavirus hit us early and it hit us hard, resulting in the most severe economic slump since the Great Depression, and with significant implications for business and job creation. New York, as you know, was the epicenter for months. In our health system, we went from 2 COVID-19 patients on March 11th to 2,000 on March 31st. It meant we had to transform the way that we operated our business practically overnight. We repurposed every space possible to double the number of beds and treble the number of intensive care beds. We were spread incredibly thin. Everyone had to be flexible and cooperative to meet the demand. Anesthesiologists worked as respiratory therapists. Directors worked frontline overnight shifts. Subspecialty nurses came back to work as ICU nurses. The pace was relentless around the clock. Every generation, if it is lucky, is called upon to make enormous sacrifices for a greater purpose, the welfare of humanity. When the world shut down, our people at Montefiore and Einstein stood up, summoned courage, overcame fear of the unknown, and went above and beyond their duty to save thousands of lives at great risk to themselves and their families. Confronted by an unimaginable disaster, they were as ready as any team could have been. The dedication and discipline, the professionalism that saved so many lives was in place long before the first COVID-19 case arrived at our doors. Their performance in the face of a deadly pandemic was what I expected of them. But more importantly, it's what they expected of themselves. We lost 27 of our dearest colleagues to COVID-19. Their memory continues to inspire us, even as we grieve. And when the history of this pandemic is written, 10, 20, 30 years from now, and the question is asked of this generation, when the call came, did you answer? The entire Montefiore Einstein community will look back and say, yes, we did our part. We made a difference. Today, as the coronavirus surges across the country, the lessons we learned here in New York during those dark early days hold true, including the importance of such simple but effective measures as social distancing, wearing masks, and washing our hands. Going forward, we must remain vigilant, continue to ramp up testing and tracing, and continue the relentless pursuit of therapeutics and vaccines. And we must recognize that there will be difficult and complex decisions. The virus doesn't respond to passionate arguments about indoor dining for restaurants. We must defeat it with facts and science if we are to have any hope of returning to the normal life that we all miss so much. Meanwhile, as the war against COVID-19 raged on, it became clear that the virus had unmasked another problem. According to the CDC, hospitalization rates for Blacks and Latinos are 5 and 4 times greater, respectively, than that of non-Hispanic whites, while the COVID death rate for Blacks is twice that of whites. For patients with underlying conditions, such as diabetes and heart disease, hospitalizations are 6 times higher and deaths 12 times higher than they are for patients without those complications. Disease is a cruel teacher. The coronavirus is one of the cruelest I have encountered. But the lesson here is beyond valuable. What the pandemic has done is expose an underlying public health crisis, a chronic disaster, if you will, that has been afflicting and killing minorities and the poor for decades. Poverty, unemployment, hunger, crowded and substandard public housing, violence, threats to public safety, limited access to healthy food. These and other social determinants of health can combine to leave entire communities at increased risk for the chronic diseases and disorders that have left them particularly vulnerable to the lethality of COVID-19. If we beat the virus, but do not address these inequities, we will have failed in our responsibilities not only as business leaders, but as community leaders and good citizens. It is in all of our business interests to have a diverse and healthy workforce. It's hard to be positive, never mind optimistic, in these troubling times. But I believe that our response as a society to COVID-19 points the way to a solution. The sacrifice, discipline, dedication, passion, and commitment to helping others that we have brought to bear on the coronavirus is exactly what we need to confront the disparities and social injustices that continue to plague us. We Americans have changed our behavior in such profound and fundamental ways to mitigate this virus. And I dare to believe that we as a people have the capacity, the nobility to summon the same selfless courage and determination to establish equal justice for all and finally prove the true strength of our shared humanity. Again, my sincere thanks for honoring the work of the people of Montefiore and Einstein by inviting me to join you as you celebrate this august occasion of your 70th anniversary. Thank you.
I almost need to pause and catch my breath after that. Thank you, Dr. Oswa. This past year has brought us simultaneously a medical crisis an economic crisis, and a social crisis. You, sir, stand at the nexus of these issues. If not a man for all seasons, then certainly a man for this season. We've now reached the point of our program where we present our leadership awards. These awards, given annually, are the WCA's highest recognition for professional achievement. They acknowledge leadership that has a significant, positive impact on advancing smart growth and improving the broader community. Our first recipient is WCA longtime supporter and board member Ken Theobalds, Vice President, Government and Regulatory Affairs at Entergy. A business mainstay of our region for many years, Ken enjoys a matchless reputation for his intellect, his integrity, and his charity.
If anybody were to start a new community and you wanted somebody to lead that community and be a role model, who would it be? It'd be Ken. It's really that simple. He's devoted himself to the Westchester community, the non-for-profits, the corporations, the commercial business, small business.
Ken understands almost better than anybody I've worked with that nonprofit organizations are an incredibly important resource for getting feedback about how our business is affecting the community.
Ken knows how to build an infrastructure for the community. He knows how important the not-for-profits are. Because what does a not-for-profit do fundamentally for the most part? They help other people. And they help other people succeed. They help other people flourish. They help other people get better in the case of the hospitals. So Ken has recognized that long before a lot of us did.
Ken brings together a collection of strengths that, the best leaders need to have. It's a focus on achieving the business outcomes that we're trying to achieve. It's understanding the seriousness with which, not only we take the issues, but how the community takes the issues, but approaching it with a sense of humor and a compassion that, encourages people who work with him to give it their best effort.
One individual has had an enormous impact on our lives, an enormous impact on our spirit in Westchester County. There's no greater good that a person can do than to help others, in my judgment. And Ken's love for our community embodies all of that.
It's now my honor to present Ken Theobalds with the WCA's 2020 Leadership Award.
Good evening, and what an exciting evening it's been. On behalf of Entergy and my team, Teresa D'Onofrio, Deb Fay, Joanne Fernandez, we thank you for this award. I really feel it's a team award because I'm fortunate enough to work for a company that believes in investing in the communities that we serve. I also would like to thank my mentors at the WCA, the chairman, Bill Harrington and Bill Mooney, who've taught me so much, not only about leadership, but what it means to be community. I also would like to congratulate tonight's honorees for their fine work over the years to make Westchester a better place. And I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had to work with not-for-profit partners in the business community to improve the quality of life here in Westchester. I say to you this evening, we are all we have. That's the basis of what community is. And with that, I salute the fellow honorees and am grateful for the opportunity to accept this award. And I bid you a fond good evening.
Thank you, Ken. Our next leadership award goes to Meg Coffer, President of the STEM Alliance, and an important partner in WCA's efforts to help close the digital divide.
Meg is a force of nature. Those are the perfect words for her.
She's also a really great person with logistics. So she can take a very complex problem and break it down into parts. And I think that that's really at the core of the STEM Alliance is really this idea of solving problems.
At the start of the pandemic, Meg had the vision to pivot the organization on a dime in order to meet the needs of our community. And right now, the importance of reaching children and now reaching adults who are really separated by this digital divide from everything else that you and I are doing on an everyday basis it's the most important thing.
And one of the things that I think Meg does better than anybody else is really put tools in the hands of kids.
And so they went from not even being able to access Google Classroom to becoming pros at being on Zoom and talking to their teachers and their mentors. And those kids came into school this fall more prepared than most kids are for digital learning. I think there are a lot of people who have a lot of great ideas, but taking an idea and putting it into action is a completely different thing, and Meg is amazing at that.
It's now my honor to present Meg Coffer with the WCA's 2020 Leadership Award.
I want to thank Westchester County Association for this honor this evening, and also through this award recognizing my nonprofit, the STEM Alliance. The Westchester County Association years ago identified digital equity as a priority and something that Westchester County needs to be addressing. They saw in advance of the pandemic what we all see now. Westchester County has a digital divide. In Westchester County alone, 30,000 households have no computer in their home, and over 51,000 households have no internet subscription. Think of the families who are caught in that divide. There's the parent who puts their child to bed for a nap or in the evening and can't continue with their job search that they started at the local library. There's the 17-year-old who is working to take a timed AP exam on a tablet that was loaned to them from the school, a tablet with no keyboard. Or there's the family that's trying to make a doctor's appointment, but they can't do it because the doctor has moved their appointment system to a digitized system that isn't accessible from a smartphone. The STEM Alliance has a solution to this problem called Digital Equity Now. It's a simple program. We work to provide a computer, Wi-Fi connectivity, and 15 hours of tech education to any low-income resident in the county. And there's two things that make this program unique. First, we combine device ownership with tech education. Those two things together are proven to advanced digital fluency with more efficacy. Second, we work by achieving these distributions through partnerships with community-based nonprofits. We don't know every client with need in the county, but our partners do. This program is not about charity, it's about equity. It's about creating equal opportunity for all Westchester County residents to be engaged in today's digitally driven world. I want to thank again WCA for this award, but I also want to say that it is my honor to work in a community and in a county where we are all striving to end the digital divide and calling for digital equity now.
Thanks, Meg. Great work. We're looking forward to the partnership with your organization. And finally, the Taubner family, whom I have known since childhood, and who epitomized the best of business by recognizing that running a successful enterprise includes broader service to the community.
You have to understand a little bit about this family. If you need help, and they have the capacity to help, they're going to help.
When the WCA reached out and needed help facilitating the availability of masks in the Westchester community, I think Ball Chain heeded the call to action brilliantly.
The first thing I thought to do was pick up the phone and call Billy and ask him if he, because he ran a factory, could help out in any way. And his answer was, frankly, Michael, I don't know the difference between an N95 mask and a bandana.
The concept was, we'd love to help you, but really we can't. We're not set up for this. Our machines work in metal.
He calls me 2 hours later and says, okay, Mike, I've spoken to a couple of overseas contacts. I think I can get the supply lines in place and start delivering these in next week.
They did a tremendous amount of vetting and found reliable manufacturers so they could bring trusted products to the U.S. market.
And so within 7 days from a cold phone call that was just a lark, he was delivering in millions of these units of personal protective equipment to many of the regional hospitals.
There's a secondary purpose. We're not here just to make money. We're here to do what's right, which has kind of been the company's credo from the outset.
He had reached an agreement with these hospitals on a particular price, and at the end of the day, he was able to import them in for less than he thought, and he just rebated the difference to them, unsolicited. It's now my honor to present the Taubner family with the WCA's 2020 Leadership Award.
Hi, my name is Bill Taubner. I'm the president of Ball Chain Manufacturing.
I'm Val Taubner, the executive vice president of Ball Chain Manufacturing.
And we're honored to be here today to accept the award for leadership from the WCA. We'd like to thank the WCA for the award, and we'd also like to congratulate the other honorees. Our company has been around since 1938. It was started in the garage, my great-grandfather's garage, back in the 1930s. He actually started the company with his son, my grandfather. My dad ran the company for many years, and then a few years ago passed it along to my brothers and myself. And it means a lot to us to be honored here today, because helping the community and being part of the community is what we are. So we're very honored to be here, so thank you. I would like to thank the WCA for all their leadership and business advocacy throughout Westchester. They're such a great role model, not only for us, but for the entire community. They're always involved, they're always helping, and I'm very proud of the WCA and also my great friend Mike Ramita, who's the president of the WCA. So again, I'd like to thank them for everything they do, not only for us, but for the entire community.
Thanks, Billy and Val. And regards to Jimmy, your dad, and the entire Taubner family. Now, don't go anywhere just yet. We have one final honor to give out this evening. Our coveted Alfred B. Delbellow Visionary Award. It's named after Al Delbello, former WCA chairman and one of Westchester's greatest visionaries. Al saw the possible and turned it into the probable. And he was a committed public figure, serving as Lieutenant Governor of New York, Westchester County Executive, and the Mayor of Yonkers. This award is reserved for those who have demonstrated a long-standing commitment to Westchester's economic vitality. With that, it's extremely fitting that we are joined tonight by our current Lieutenant Governor, Kathy Hochul, to help us make this special presentation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. I want to thank Bill Harrington and the Westchester County Association for inviting me to your 70th anniversary leadership event. Congratulations to all the distinguished award winners for being honored and recognized here tonight, especially our frontline healthcare workers. I first became acquainted with WCA when I handled strategic relationships for M&T Bank, and Paula Mandel decided I need to get to know Bill Mooney over a lovely lunch. Since then, as Lieutenant Governor working on economic development for the state, I've seen the critical role that WCA has played in helping Westchester and businesses throughout the Hudson Valley region. And certainly now more than ever during this pandemic, businesses need our help. I commend you for recognizing a real champion for the area, Congresswoman Nita Lowey, with the Al Delbellow Visionary Award. Of course, Al and I shared the experience of not just local elected office, but that of Lieutenant Governor. And I know he had an enormous impact on Westchester and the state of New York, and I want to send my warm wishes to Dee Delbellow. You know, Nita offered her hand in friendship to me when I was a newly elected member of Congress from Western New York nearly a decade ago. Here was this nationally known powerhouse of a woman who loves her district so much that even before I was sworn into office after my special election, she made sure I came to Westchester first to meet her constituents. Nita is someone who still believes in the nobility of public service and has dedicated her life to bettering the lives of others. Even before her distinguished tenure as a member of Congress, she served New York as an Assistant Secretary of State under our current governor's father, Mario. Since her election in 1988, throughout her long and impressive tenure, she has taken action to decrease the burden on taxpayers and has been a strong advocate for women's rights. She's also spearheaded educational opportunities and quality, affordable health care for everyone. But among her groundbreaking accomplishments, and the one I love the most, Chairwoman Lowey is the very first woman to chair the powerful House Appropriations Committee, demonstrating the confidence that Speaker Pelosi and her colleagues have in her. Westchester and Rockland are far better for having been represented by a tireless, dedicated fighter named Nita Lowey. On behalf of myself, Governor Cuomo, and the entire state of New York, we thank you for your public service and wish you all the best in retirement. Your leaving is a loss for our nation, but you have left an extraordinary legacy. Enjoy your well-deserved time with Steve and your beautiful children and grandchildren. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy, for taking time out to be with us this evening. We're so fortunate to have Al's wife, my friend and longtime WCA supporter, Dee Delbellow, publisher of West Fair Communications, to officially present this year's Al Delbellow Visionary Award to our most deserving recipient.
Thank you, Michael. I am so grateful that the County Association continues to remember Al with this Visionary Award. He loved the WCA. Together they shared a vision to do more than just meet and network. They made the right things happen and paved the way for so many important programs. And along the way came the recipient of tonight's Visionary Award, Nita Lowey. More than 3 decades ago, she had the vision and courage to run for Congress. And the rest is history. As chair of the powerful House Appropriations Committee, she was able to secure funds for so many worthwhile projects in our region, like the Jobs Waiting program that the WCA managed for 4 years. Through that program, more than 500 previously unemployed residents of the Hudson Valley were given training and placed in career path jobs with area healthcare employers. She was a ready partner in so many of the WCA initiatives. Indeed, she was a partner to worthy causes in her entire district. But she will always be remembered for her support and advocacy for the healthcare sector, which the WCA has espoused as one of its most meaningful challenges. Congratulations, Congresswoman Nita M. Lowey.
I am honored to receive this award named for my good friend Al Delbellow. Steve and I were lucky to have Al in our lives. We remember the important work Al and his wife Dee have done to improve our Westchester community. It's been my honor to work with WCA and represent you in Congress for the past 32 years. WCA has made enormous contributions to our community. In particular, I'd like to thank current CEO Michael Ramita, former CEO Bill Mooney, for all they have done to help businesses in Westchester thrive. One item I'm most proud of during my tenure was helping to secure the $9.8 million grant for the Workforce Academy, which has trained hundreds of area professionals for high-skilled jobs in healthcare and technology, creating high-quality, good-paying jobs and meeting the needs of local employers. This public-private partnership between government, WCA, and local industry is exactly the type of smart federal investment we should be making to build a 21st century workforce. I thank you again and hope that we can celebrate together soon.
Congratulations, Congresswoman Lowey, and all of our 2020 honorees. Now, before we wrap, a quick shout out to my daughter Izzy on tonight, her 15th birthday. Well, that's it, folks. We've reached the end of our time together. And even though this year is coming to a close, there's still a lot of hard work ahead of us. Fighting a second surge, looking out for one another, and building towards a stronger future. This is a unique moment in our history, and the work of the Westchester County Association is more vital now than ever. One more thank you to Dr. Ozuah for his inspiring keynote address. Thank you to all the sponsors and the supporters. And last but not least, thank you to the entire WCA team, our board, and our members. Good night.